Which quarterbacks are you going to take over Brock Purdy? And which quarterbacks are you going to take Purdy over? Let's start with the guys that are making north of what he's making per year or the same number. Christian, let's start with you first. You are on the Purdy line to start. Jared Goff is sitting at $53 million per year. Christian Cat, are you going with Brock Purdy or Jared Goff?
I'm going with Jared Goff. I think that they are comparable in terms of how they are perceived with having a lot of weapons around them, except Jared Goff did it in two different spots. A little more flexible, a little bit amenable. Give me Jared Goff over Brock Purdy.
Now, you don't care that Purdy beat the Lions straight up in the NFC Championship game to go to a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I do not care. Nope. Lions held a lead in that game. Lions did hold a lead in that game. The defense blew it away.
They did, but no one, and I always say this, no one said Detroit had to stop scoring points either and go completely ice cold in the second half, but I understand the point. Tua, this should be a no-brainer, right?
Well,
Really? Oh, yeah. You aren't, hang on. Christian is known Brock Purdy hater. I forgot. I don't know how. I've only done 50 million shows with you now, but you are known Brock Purdy hater.
I've got
Tua or Purdy. Lasso of truth.
Lasso of truth, because of the injury concerns, Brock Purdy.
Okay.
That hurts a lot to say that.
Why? Because it's the right answer.
Going into last season, I would have said Tua. But just one concussion too many. It broke the camel's back for me in terms of the Tua Brock Purdy debate.
Now, I think both of us are taking Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, and it's not even a question. So
assumption.
I'm not even going to ask those. The next two, though, I think are worthy. Jordan Love, the Love Doctor, up there in Green Bay, who I think got paid a little prematurely. We'll get to me in a second. Christian Cat is on the lasso of truth on the Purdy line. Are you going with Jordan Love or Brock Purdy?
I'm going with Jordan Love. Did a lot more with a lot less. Give me Jordan Love.
I don't understand it though, Christian.
I say a lot more.
I got to push back on.
He did not do a lot more. He did a lot with a lot less. That's what I would say. He proved to me who Jordan Love is with a lot less.
Even last year, you're okay with how last year ended up with Love? Love didn't really do too hot last year. Neither did Purdy, though.
Injury concerns. I could consider more about injury of the quarterback we're judging than the injury concerns around him. That's what I would say.
Lastly, Dak Prescott.
Who would I take?
By the way, $60 million. Dak is number one on per year with $60 million.
Dak Prescott start the season? I'd start the season with Dak Prescott this year.
So, Christian, the Purdy line, and this is above the Purdy line. Christian is going with Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and Dak Prescott over Brock Purdy. Now, we did say Joe Burrow and Josh Allen are obviously we're going to take those guys over him. So, technically, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and Dak Prescott. Those are the quarterbacks that Christian Cat is taking over Brock Purdy. The only quarterback he chose to have Purdy over is Tua. And I had to rip teeth from him. I had to rip teeth out of his mouth to select Purdy over Tua.
This is Guantanamo Bay. You were ripping my fingernails out.
All right. So that is above the line. Now, Christian, I'm going to flip it to you. Write these names down. Dak, Love. We're going to skip Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. Tua and Goff. And you're going to ask me the same thing. This is the Purdy line. Theoretically speaking, Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. We will get to your calls on the Baptist Health Line at 888-760-3776. That is 888-760-3776 if you want to take a part of on the Purdy line. All right, Christian, you got your names ready?
Would you take Dak Prescott over Brock Purdy?
Dak Prescott making $60 million a year. No, I would take Brock Purdy.
What, are we considering price or are we considering just quarterback?
Just in general, quarterback play. I'm taking Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy has been able to get to a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy has won bigger games than Dak Prescott. Listen, Dak's a great quarterback. Honest to God, in all NFL terms, when Dak Prescott is healthy, guy's great. Could have been an MVP 2 years ago, has the numbers to prove it. In a big spot, Purdy has been the better quarterback. I'm going with Brock Purdy.
Would you take Jordan Love over Brock Purdy?
Listen, I got to be completely honest. It was like ripping teeth to get Christian to take to take Purdy over Tua. I cannot, for the life of me, I don't understand how Jordan Love already makes $55 million after having one good year. And you could say the same thing about Purdy, fine. I go back to the Super Bowl run that I mentioned in the Dak conversation. He's perfect for the system. And listen, maybe Jordan Love is perfect for the Matt LaFleur coaching system. But I didn't necessarily see that last year. You could blame the weapons around Love. I think it's very premature to give Jordan Love $55 million. And I think Packer fans might be upset when this thing's all said and done on that contract. Brock Purdy by 1,000. Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Christian Watson.
Not even close.
Is Mercedes Lewis still on that team? Like, they've thrown it to nobody.
It's not my problem.
Where Brock Purdy's got the Monstars on his side.
Purdy has Kyle Shanahan. Jordan Love has LaFleur. Two very good coaches. Two coaches cut from the same coaching tree, may I add. And you could argue the only thing they're missing is a Super Bowl. They've gone deep into playoffs. They have great regular season success. I got to fact check. I believe LaFleur, yeah. LaFleur has won that division multiple times with Aaron Rodgers. The only thing they need to do is to win a Super Bowl. Both sides. And that sets very similar situations. You say Love's situation a lot worse than Purdy's situation, fine. But I go to Purdy being the ultimate system guy and the guy for Kyle Shanahan. I don't know if Jordan Love's that guy for Matt LaFleur. Is that fair? Jordan
Love's being compared against guys like all-time greats. Top 15 quarterbacks of all time. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. Go, Brett Starr.
Bart Starr, Christian.
Bart Starr. We'll even go back there.
That's fine.
Who's Brock Purdy been compared against? Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo.
So I think Packer fans and the people that run their organizations, take it for what it is. My team can't judge a quarterback if their life depended on it. I think the contract was a little premature, and I think the Packers as an organization were too quickly to jump the gun too quick to pat themselves on the back of, we found our another quarterback for 20 years, brother. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, we've had two quarterbacks. I think they hi-hat everybody in the sense of, hey, we're quarterback you. We're the quarterback factory of the NFL. And we found another one in Jordan Love, and we're going to pat ourselves on the back already after 1 year. Wasn't necessarily a good year last year. I think that's the question everyone's trying to avoid with Jordan Love.
Would you take Brock Purdy or Jared Goff?
Purdy. I mentioned to Colin all NFL season long. It took a lot of heat for it, too. And Christian, you can back me up on that. I said Goff's not good in a big spot. He folded in that big spot. And that was the second time, in my opinion, he folded in the big spot. I'll give him a pass for that Super Bowl against Bill Belichick. I believe 2017. They got a call against the Saints, too. Let's not forget that. The Saints probably belonged in the game. One of the worst calls we've seen in NFL history. That pass interference or whatever. Was holding, whatever the hell they called. I'll give him a pass for that. But I think he was the direct reason the Lions lost that last game. Now, you can maybe even chalk it up to the coaches and Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn doing the interview tour during the playoffs, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But I'm going to go with Purdy. Better in a big spot. I don't think Goff necessarily has what it takes in a big spot.
Would you take Brock Purdy or Tua Tagovailoa for the same price?
Tua is another person on this list that I scratch my head, and it's only because of the injuries. Let me make that clear. I scratch my head because I can't believe they gave a guy $53 million a year. And hang on, where's my guaranteed dollars on Tua here? Tua is guaranteed
93.
Not too bad. I guess in that sense, I understand the contract, but I would definitely take Brock Purdy over Tua. Not even close.
But a little Trevor Lawrence action. Who'd rather have Trevor Lawrence or Brock Purdy?
Colin could kill me for this at 4 o'clock, but I'm going with Brock Purdy. The reason I'm going with Brock Purdy is because I think they ruined that kid already. What is this, his third head coach?
Damaged goods?
It's his third head coach in 4 years?
Look at Sam Darnold. No, you can't give up on somebody that quickly.
I'm not giving up on him. I just, at this point in Purdy's career, and I would take Brock Purdy over Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, and let's give him his credit. Him and Doug Peterson, the Silver Fox, who I think is actually a pretty good coach. They came back in that playoff game against the Chargers. Took a lot of guts. Lawrence played bad in that first half. Came back in the second half and won a playoff game. Outside of that, I have not been impressed with Trevor Lawrence.
You want to get real dirty? You want to get naughty?
Yeah.
You want to ask yourself the question you might want to avoid asking yourself?
All right.
Truth serum. Right now, you're starting a franchise. Mike Rizzo, I have 2 quarterbacks in front of you. They both cost the same. One is Brock Purdy.
Okay.
The other is Justin Herbert.
So
We're
that
not
is
talking about their accomplishments.
correct.
Not talking about the numbers. We're talking about the quarterback to start 2025, Justin Herbert.
And that is below the Purdy line, by the way. The guys below the Purdy line who I put on this list, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Herbert. Jackson, $52 million. Herbert, $52 million. Hurts, $51. I mean, I'm going with Justin Herbert. I am a complete fraud in that sense. I hear Colin already screaming at me at 4 o'clock right now. Okay? Yeah, I would probably go with Herbert. What is he, 6'4", rocket arm? I mean, Harbaugh will figure that kid out, right? Harbaugh will figure that kid out. Granted, Christian, you know what? You did it. You got me.
Yeah.
You caught me.
Throwing a lad McConkey.
You caught me because I'm not being fair. If I'm going to say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence, the same thing can be said about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is social media's quarterback. Would we agree on this?
Makes a lot of crazy throws.
Really is. But
he is the if quarterback if Justin Herbert had this surrounding cast.
And you asked the perfect question. If you're starting a franchise, there is no better build out there than Justin Herbert. Really is a dream, a GM's dream. And honestly, Christian, I did not see it coming out of Oregon. He played bad in a couple of big games. He had his best year, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Herbert come back his senior year? He was supposed to. One of the years he was supposed to go to the draft, and I think he came back.
He was in the Tua draft for sure.
I think he could have came out a year early, and he didn't come out. I could be wrong on that. I'm hashtag shooting from the hip. But lasso of truth, Christian, you said truth serum. The lasso of truth. With me wrapped up in it, I probably would go Justin Herbert. And that is below the Purdy line. I don't think, would you? All right, actually, these are tough ones. So the guys below the Purdy line, I think now you're a Raven fan. You're going with Lamar Jackson over Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and
not
I
even
would
close.
laugh you out of the room.
It's not even close. So Lamar Jackson is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL.
We've seen it in prime time a couple times where Lamar Jackson just bullies Brock Purdy into a locker.
Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl. This is a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Because you want to know what? Christian, you said everything needs to be perfect for Purdy. The same could be said about Hurts. But Hurts, I think, silenced a lot of critics and a lot of people during that Super Bowl run last year. He played great. And he played great in that game. He outplayed the greatest, arguably the greatest of all time, in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that. That was a bad Patrick Mahomes game. And to be honest, I mean, did Jalen Hurts have to do anything? Like, it could have been a quarterback with no arms in that game with how that Eagles defense was playing.
But come on, he made the plays. Christian, he made the plays.
Sure.
He made the great throw, the great deep throw to A.J. Brown, the Devontae Smith throw. I mean,
not exactly threading the needle over here.
He did throw in a bad interception, and it gave Kansas City a chance to get the ball back. But to your point, the defense turned him right back over.
Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy, I'm closing my eyes. I would take Jalen Hurts today.
I think I would too.
Is it recency bias, or
it
are we
is.
just looking at a Super Bowl champion?
I'm looking at the hardware. Hardware talks. Brother, hardware talks. In any sport. I don't care who you are. You could play in the NBA. You could play in the MLB. And MLB's different. I think baseball players are a little different. Takes a little bit more than a singular player. I think heroic efforts of quarterback play can take you a long way in the NFL. Can't win you the whole thing, but it could certainly get you in the conversation. And then certainly in the NBA, a guy can get you there. So I think in a sense of hardware, it's different in the NFL. It's different in the NBA comparatively to baseball. But any sport, we look at hardware.
And you know what? He played good. Listen, I don't want to negate things that he did poorly, Jalen Hurts, the first time around in the Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl, talking about the fumble where no one touched him and he turned the ball over to the Chiefs.
Yep.
But Hurts represented himself pretty good that first time around against the Chiefs as well.